Our Lifeclass social lab is all powered up, and many of you have already checked in. Thank you so much. Tonight we're headed in a new direction, upward and out of the pain. It's all about the action steps, and by the end of this Lifeclass, we are hoping that you all will walk away with specific ways that you can be able to start today, tonight, connecting with your sons, whether you've been absent for months or even years. Tonight is about the answers. And for the fathers who live with their sons, but you are emotionally absent, this one's for you too. So we have gathered an elite team of experts who made it their life's work to tackle what is an epidemic in our country. Dr. Steve Perry is among the nation's most innovative educators. He founded the Capital Preparatory Magnet School in Hartford, Connecticut, where 100%, did you hear me? 100% of its predominantly low-income, minority, first-generation Emory High School graduates have gone on to four-year colleges. That's Dr. Steve Perry, who is also a contributor to CNN, MSNBC, and the father of two sons. Jeffrey Canada has been called a pioneer. He was raised by a single mother. Jeffrey is a Harvard grad school graduate and a leader in the fight for education. He's the founder of the Harlem's Children's Zone. It's an organization that serves over 10,000 at-risk youth. In addition to raising his own children, Jeffrey has been a father figure to literally thousands and thousands of those students. And, of course, you know, Ian Leventon is here. And, Ian, the reason we started this conversation, because in addition to her work on Young Fix My Life on OWN, she spent the past 30 years coaching and counseling men and women, many of whom had absent fathers. So first, let's clear up the role of what is a father. I'll begin with you, Dr. Perry.
Well, the role of a father is to establish structure. Dads establish structure. You know, earlier today, my son was trying to work my wife into getting him some soda. And
how old are your children?
7 and 10.
Oh, that's the working age.
And so Dad had to organize some structure over the phone.
Yeah.
That he needs to apologize to his mother for his conduct and thank her for giving him water.
So dads are there for structure.
No doubt.
Okay. Your definition.
So, you know, I really believe there is a male energy in life that is part of being a whole. And I just find that kids need this person whose first tendency is to lift them up off their feet, to roll around the floor with them, to throw them high enough so the mother is looking at you like, don't you throw my baby, right? What is wrong with you, right? But that sense of, I think the yin and the yang of human beings helps make us whole people, and we are constantly reaching out for that other part of ourselves that's missing, then you can actually feel that energy, in my opinion. And I think that's part of a father's role. His role is to be this kind, loving, disciplinarian, at the same time who is saying to his children and his wife, I am here to protect you and I will give my life for you. But there comes with some demands, right? And those demands are that you're going to have to be a good person, right? And that's when you put people in check because they accept it because they know you're prepared to go all the way.
Now, one of the things I've heard you say is that we're at ground zero at this epidemic. And I know everybody in this room, and I know many of you who are tweeting with us right now, you saw our first class, right? Everybody see it? On Fatherless Sons. Did you realize that it is as widespread an epidemic as it is? Did you realize that? Yeah. Okay. Why are we at ground zero?
This is Oprah, this is something that is a relatively new and dynamic phenomenon. This was only in a small portion of our society, but now it is all over, all income groups, all racial groups. The number of children growing up without their dads in America right now is
But it's
staggering.
not just that, though. It's not the person who isn't in the house. It's the person who's in the house and incapable of engaging in a meaningful
that's why I love what you said.
Because the problem is, so much of the father role that we just talked about is what you expected dad to do. The low-tone voice of a man can make even a puppy stand still.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we have yet to find a way to crack the code of being able to get comfortable enough in ourselves as men to also be tender with our child. So many of the men in our audience and beyond don't have the emotional capacity to communicate their emotions.
So you're not fatherless just if your father's gone.
No. Right.
It's a different kind of fatherless when your father is at home and not emotionally
You could
available.
send your kids to boarding school,
Yeah.
not physically be around them and still make them feel like you're there every day. You could have a child sleeping in the same bed next to you because your place is so small and they could feel like they don't know who you are.
I think that I would add the father who's absent, not there at all, the father who's there and emotionally disconnected, and particularly for the sons, the father who's there and set a poor example.
Yeah.
The domestic violence, the alcoholic, the physical abuser, because for my experience is that father demonstrates or models to the male child how to be man. And so when he's being man in a dysfunctional, disruptive, harmful way, then the child is even more confused and conflicted. So there's a lot of ways to be fatherless.
Here's one thing that I discovered as a boy.
Yeah.
I was convinced that someone could take your manhood.
Yes.
Right? That it could literally be taken from you, and you had to be prepared to defend that with your very life, right? And so, or you want a boy to do something, all you have to do is say, right, real man go out there, and then that boy gonna go run right out there and do whatever it is. We believe that manhood can be lost.
Or
Right?
talent.
That you can't look yourself. You know what? You a boy, and someone smacks you.
Yeah.
You get in a little fight, and you don't fight back. You cannot look at yourself in the mirror. You think you have lost some key part of yourself. You feel so horrible. If you want to know why these kids are so prepared to do this extreme violence, it is this terror that if I don't act, I am not going to be a man. And there is no one to guide you through that, to teach you that is not man at all.
Well,
So you're saying your manhood can't be taken away.
No, a lot of times moms who are raising children by themselves find themselves in this, boys in particular, find themselves in this quagmire because what on some level you're attempting to do is to raise someone who you'd actually like to date. Too many of you end up dating your son.
Emotionally.
And creating this cognitive dissonance for him because he doesn't understand who he is and who he isn't. He thinks he's a man of a house in which he's yet a child.
Yeah.
And so he's walking around with a little chest poked
And then
out.
you gotta call him to come fix your life. Raise your son.
Because you made him a man.
Because you made him a man.
boyhood wasn't complete.
Yes. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today, we said we wanted to have some solutions. And I know you have a list of things that you think that fathers can start to do today. What are the concrete action steps to reconnect with your sons?
Well, look, the first thing I think is people think it takes a lot of money and you got to go out and say, that is not. Kids do want you to show up. They want to know that you have gone out of your way to acknowledge they exist and they are important to you. So just something like going to pick your kid up from school. Remember that your father's out there. Like, why? What I do? Because that's what I mean. No, but you're out there because I